Well, finally, it's like 75, 78 degrees out here. Thank God. It was like 100, 115, 118 at one point out here in Southern California. And it was so unbearable when I was out here working or making videos for you guys. So thank God it is 75 or 78 degrees, because I just couldn't deal with those 100-degree temperatures anymore as a fly attacks me. What is it with the flies? You know, flies are attacking people on TV during presidential debates, and now they're attacking me. Like, what is going on with the flies? Hey everybody, I'm Jacob Castro and welcome to another video here on Jacob's Aquarium. Hope you guys are doing good and hope your tanks are doing good as well. As another fly attacks me. So today I have a plant guide for you guys. Before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you really quick for helping me surpass 10,000 orders on my website, jacobsaquarium.com. When I first started my business back in 2014, I never imagined that I would ever surpass 10,000 orders, and now that I have, I just can't believe it. And I'm so happy, so grateful, and so thankful, and I have nobody else to thank other than you guys. So thank you so much to all my amazing customers, my loyal customers, and all my fans and supporters. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for helping me surpass 10,000 orders on jacobsaquarium.com. Alright, so the plant we'll be talking about today is called Ammania Senegalensis. And for the longest time I was pronouncing that Ammania Senegalensis or Gleasis, or I have such a difficult time with these scientific names. It takes me a while to really get, you know, the lingo down, how to actually say it. And which, you know, I especially enjoy watching other people try to pronounce scientific names. Like, I don't know about you guys, but you know, there's some times where I go onto YouTube and I'm looking at plant and tank stuff, and I like to watch other plant guides from other YouTubers, and when they get to the scientific name, they always like slow down and take a pause to really pronounce every syllable and everything, because some of these scientific names are just pretty long and difficult. I mean, whoever comes up with these names, good on you, because very creative, but sometimes very difficult to pronounce. So as with every plant guide, we'll be talking about how this plant grows, how to propagate it, and basically, the color you can get out of it, and like I was going to say, basically everything you need to know in order to grow this plant successfully in your aquarium. What is with this fly? It loves me. I mean, I took a shower. What the hell? So the number one thing I like about Ammania Senegalensis is the way it transitions from its immersed to its submerged state. I like it in the sense that it pretty much stays the same. It just changes color. And what I mean by that is it doesn't lose all of its leaves. It doesn't look like it's dying for 2 to 3 weeks like most every other aquatic plant out there that transitions. This plant pretty much just stays the same. It just changes color, which is really nice. And I think any hobbyist would appreciate that, because the biggest complaint out there from everybody is whenever they buy an immersed plant, it dies back. You know, it melts and loses all of its leaves, and it looks like crap for 2 or 3 weeks, you know, sometimes even longer than that. But with this plant, it just doesn't do that. So I think a lot of you newer hobbyists out there that haven't really enjoyed transitioning plants from its immersed to its submerged state, you're gonna really like this plant, because it pretty much stays the same, but like I said, it just changes color. That's pretty much it. So I actually got some in recently, and it came in its immersed state, but I also had some originally in the pond in its submerged state. So I can actually show you the difference between the two, and as you can see, yes, it looks different as far as color, but pretty much the plant stays the same. It doesn't change shape that much, I would say. It pretty much looks the same as its counterpart, I guess you could say. So I think a lot of you new hobbyists out there that haven't really enjoyed growing immersed plants in your aquariums will really like this one, because it doesn't encounter all the traditional, you know, transitioning plant symptoms, you know, when it transitions from its immersed to its submerged state. It pretty much just stays the same, just changes color. Now, as far as growth rate, this isn't one of the fastest growing plants out there. I would say it's about a slow to medium, you know, grower. It's not gonna shoot up, you know, new stems every week. It's just not one of those plants. I would say you can, in a really high-tech aquarium, you know, CO2, nutrient-rich substrate, all the fancy stuff, good lighting, things like that, you can probably expect to get about an inch of growth out of this plant every 2 weeks. In a low-tech setup, which you can grow this plant in a low-tech setup, you just need to give it some nutrient-rich substrate. You could probably expect an inch of growth every 3 to 4 weeks. It's a pretty slow grower in a basic tank. You can get some decent growth out of it rather quickly in a more high-tech tank, but even still in a high-tech tank, yeah, it's a little faster than in a low-tech tank, but it still takes a while, you know, to get an inch of growth out of it. So it's not a fast grower, but I think that basically makes it a good mid-ground to foreground plant, because it's not something that's going to take over your aquarium very quickly. So that's where I would say is the best place in an aquarium to grow this plant, is mid-ground or foreground. In the foreground, you know, it'll get taller than your average foreground plant, obviously, but it won't get tall really quickly. So you can kind of keep it as a foreground plant permanently if you trim it, you know, and you won't have to trim it often because, like I said, it doesn't grow that fast. Now, as far as what this plant needs to grow, as I just said, it can grow in a low-tech environment, it can grow in a high-tech environment. The difference is the rate of growth you're going to get out of it. And I would say also the color. You know, that's one thing a lot of people tend to miss, and I know this because I get emails from a lot of customers that ask me, you know, they'll tell me, hey, I think you sent me the wrong plant because, you know, it's supposed to be green, but it's actually like a reddish brown color. The thing is with aquatic plants is a majority of them will grow a certain way depending on their environment. So if they're grown under natural sunlight, a lot of sunlight, or a lot of light in general, the colors in aquatic plants under those conditions tend to be a little darker. If they're grown in low light environments or shaded areas of your aquarium, the colors tend to be a little bit lighter. So it really just depends on where you grow this plant. So as I said, you know, high light environments, dark color, low light environments, lighter color. This plant is a red plant, so you definitely, if you want to maintain that red coloration, you definitely want to grow it in a high light environment. If you don't though, you'll still get red coloration. It's just going to be a little dull. It may look like a whitish red. It's not going to be a very dark, deep red. So it just depends on where you grow this plant in your aquarium. Now, as far as propagation, which I always like to skip over this when it comes to stem plants, this topic that is, I always like to skip over it when it comes to stem plants, because every stem plant out there is pretty much the same. You know, it's just a matter of cutting a stem off and, you know, planting it in your substrate, and it'll root and grow a whole nother portion of the plant. Stem plants are by far the easiest plant to propagate. There's really nothing special you have to do. There's no special precautions other than, I would say, not cutting off a stem too short. Like if you cut a stem off that's maybe a ½ inch long, yeah, it's gonna be a little difficult to grow that one. But if you cut a stem off that's, you know, a decent length, 3, 4, 5 inches, it should root just fine and it should grow just fine. So stem plants are by far the easiest plants to propagate, and it pretty much applies to Ammania Senegalensis as well. So that pretty much does it for this video here on Jacob's Aquarium. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any more questions about Ammania Senegalensis, post your question in the comment section below and I'll answer it as soon as I can. Also, don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All my social media links will be in the description below as well. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos on this channel and the video quality as well. I've been trying to film in 5K, cinema 4K, 4K in general. I've completely, you know, I've completely removed HD from my life. I'm now a 4K, 5K, 6K guy, you know, so I hope you guys have been enjoying the video quality on this channel. I've been doing my best with this new camera that I got. I'm still learning a lot of things, but I think so far things are going very well. So thanks again for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. I love you guys very much. Have fun with your tanks, and I'll see you next time.